I could see the vast territory that you have and the beauty of your country.
Anybody can shoot something. There's times I didn't get anything, but you have to enjoy being there. 2 bones to get a ram. You gotta shoot that ram. I've been applying for 18 years. We hunted the Grays River off and on, and we just started putting in and getting points. And then I really been doing it on my own. I just been applying on my own for the last time, and you know, if I got it, I got it. I have a good friend, Carlos, bearers from Dominican Republic, who they accommodated to come on the hunt with us. It's his first time in the U.S. He got a visa, and I told him if he got a visa, I'd bring him on the hunt.
Nick and I, we met 9 years ago through a cousin of mine. They used to have business. Nick has been a businessman in DR for several years. So I started this relationship of business and friendship because Nick is a tremendous person. He invited me over and over to come to the States through the years, and I'm the kind of Dominican that feels really comfortable in my space. Like I used to tell him, if God would like men to fly, we would be born with wings. When his son passed away, by first time I felt myself miserable by not paying attention in going to the embassy looking for a visa. I had to be with him.
I lost my son. He was 22. That was one reason why I almost didn't come. A lot of friends told me I should go, and you know, my son would want me to. I kept putting in, thought it'd be a nice hunt for us to go together. I lose my son the year after I draw attack.
Friendship is something that most of the people have no clue. It's like brotherhood, you know, it's something very special. It's family. So when he told me, Nick is gone, I want you to come with me. I said, all right, I'll do it, Nick.
We were riding horses, it was like steep. I mean, I own a lot of country out here, and where we were, it's pretty high up. We were always steep.
I could see the vast territory that you have and the beauty of your country. I said, I believe God focused in this place to start the earth.
The horses were great, the mules were good. We had not one issue, which is probably rare. I've never been such a windiest place. You would think it was below zero at 30 degrees. We camped on the top of this ridge, and you could see for miles. I mean, we were just, it was amazing. I looked up on the ridge, they just keep on getting bigger. You got to shoot that ram.
The Best of the West is brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation, Cryptek Camo, Hawkins Precision, Defiance Machine, Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable, Huskamaw Optics, and LongRangeStore.com.
When we got up and set up camp, we figured we'd stay there for a night. We glassed on the way in, and it seemed like you're glassing forever. We finally saw a couple elk. We didn't see any sheep. So Jim decided we were going to sleep in this area. And so we're setting up camp and just kind of like looking around. And you know, you're always seeing animals. When you think you're seeing animals, kind of see a rock. And I'd always be getting Jim to check it out because, you know, I'm not as good at that. I was looking up, and to me, it seemed like a mile away. I looked up on the ridge, and I knew something was looking at me. And I kept looking at it, and I said, you know what, that's a sheep. So I get Jim, and I said, Jim, there's a sheep up there. He looked, and he said, yeah, it's just a young ram. Well, they just kept coming out. Then another one comes out, and then Fox got the spotting scope, and he says, they just keep on getting bigger. So then another one stepped out, and he never even got the spotting scope. Jim just uses binoculars. He says, you got to shoot that ram. I said, really? Because me, I was like, I want to make sure, you know, but he said, no, you got to shoot that ram. I knew what I wanted. I wanted a nice ram, boomed off, and the one side, you know, it's just like perfect. I mean, it's everything I could dream of. Like, I didn't even care, like, even if I see another one. I mean, do you want to shoot one when you first get there? No, because you wanted to, you know, have a little fun, but how do you turn it down? You might never see it again.
Dropped him.
Nice shot.
Dropped him.
Nice shot, buddy.
Dropped him.
Unbelievable. I can't believe it. It happened this fast. We were just setting up camp. We looked up over the hill and there was 3 rams looking at us. Just setting up. We didn't even unsaddle the horses. Didn't see a sheep all day. Just showed up. Unbelievable.
I mean, believe me, it's a bonus to get a ram. I've hunted a lot. There's times I didn't get anything, but you have to enjoy being there. You know, anybody can shoot something, but if you don't enjoy your trip, you know, and it's been a few years. And when I first got there to Jim's house and we were loading the saddles up and stuff, it was just, I enjoyed it again.
This hunt is dedicated in loving memory to Nick Conti Jr. He would have loved this adventure, the ram, and he'll always be remembered. By regulation, all bighorn sheep harvested in the state of Wyoming must be brought to a game and fish office to be plugged by a biologist. The plug is a metal identification tag inserted in the back of the sheep horn, used to identify the sheep to its owner if it's ever stolen.
Karen's done a lot of these.
Yeah. What day did you harvest?
13?
Doug,
nice meeting you.
pleasure.
I love meeting
Congratulations.
important people. Thank you.
Come on in. Come on back. Jim? Everybody has their own way of aging a sheep. The way I go through this is when you don't have a lamb tipped, which is their first year of growth, you kind of look for this yearling ring, which is usually a series of rings that gets laid down. It almost looks like several rings that kind of stack up together. So that's what's going on right here. So if you can envision, this ram had a little lamb tip out here. He's broomed off long ago. That was his first year of life. And then he had this as a yearling. So if you can picture the head of that sheep when he was a yearling, he had about that much horn sticking out of his head.
Sure.
So he was 1, 2, 3 to that ring, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then this is the last half year of his life, basically, so 8.5.
And these rings are the winter, late winter, early spring. That's when
Yep.
their body's down the most. They've got the least energy to put into horn growth,
just
and
stop
therefore
growing.
the constriction right there. And so, this part of this is from May, June on, when they're doing real well, they're growing horn, and then this amount right here, there's probably 3 months of that right there, and probably 9 months of it in this.
Yep.
But they grow virtually nothing for several
That's
months.
exactly right. The winter time, that growth pretty much just stopped. And they're just worrying about staying alive. So, yeah. Just basic measurements of length. So this guy is 870 millimeters, a little over 34 inches long. So 384, which is a 15 plus inch bases, which is really good for around here. We plug 100 rams a year in this office, and out of these Absaroka Mountains here, hunt areas 1 through 5, we kill about 150 rams a year maybe.
We love hunting with young people and getting kids in the outdoors. We got us a decent buck out here for Aaron.
Especially for our last day buck.
Oh, man.
The Best of the West is brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation, Cryptek Camo, Hawkins Precision, Polestar Outdoors, Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable, Huskamaw Optics, and LongRangeStore.com.
with young people and getting kids in the outdoors. It's the 31st of October, and we're looking to get Aaron Driesel, one of our Polestar young men, his deer. The last day for his season. He's been out a couple times and hasn't been able to connect, so we're gonna see if we can't go down area 165 and see if we can't get him a good deer. We got us a decent buck out here for Aaron, and we're gonna see if we can't put the sneak on him and get on him.
I think it might be a pretty nice buck, especially for our last day buck. Trying to see how big he is, but my binoculars, not super high power, but it's pretty good from here.
He's staying behind the clump of juniper. Give me a second. Whenever you're ready. Yep, get a broadside. Just squeeze. He's behind a tree. We can't see if he's coming out of that or if he laid down. Oh, man. We got some decent blood headed up this trail. I just kind of want to get up on top of this ridge, see if we can see him over the top, or if he's up right at the top of the mountain. Don't know.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was a tough one. It's a good thing Aaron helped me out. I rolled my ankle a little bit coming down there.
That was a haul.
That was a haul. Sure plug.
The goal of Polestar Outdoors is to speak into the lives of youth through outdoor experiences.
Welcome to British Columbia, where some great bears exist. Now let's see if Jim and Paul can find the right one.
Hopefully we won't just get Jim a bear, but get him one for the books.
Well, we're here the first morning. We're just kind of getting set up. We got here late, and we're getting a shooting bench set up here and get about 300, 400 yards set up. Just make sure our rifles are sighted in well. Paul has not shot his rifle yet that he had set up from Corley Sporting Goods, and so we're going to make sure that that rifle's all set up, ready for this area that he's in, and then we're going to get on the trail and go hunting this afternoon.
I was really looking forward to being able to talk to an expert about long-range shooting because, you know, up in here, I kind of focus on the hunting side of it. You know, I was just really looking forward to talking to Jim and really learning some technical, helpful stuff about long-range shooting. So it was exciting having him up here, and I definitely learned some really good shooting tips and, you know, some gun information. I think it'll be helpful in my own personal hunting and also in my guiding too. So it was great having Jim up here.
Just kind of leveling up the shooting platform to set this bench on. Paul wants to get a pretty good bench set up here for when his counters come up here. Make sure the rifles are sighted in and they're ready to go hunting.
Watch your shooting finger, Jim. Okay, nothing that another load of sand wouldn't fix.
Okay, we've got this shooting bench all set up. We're gonna qualify Paul's rifle. He hasn't shot it yet. We're gonna make sure that it's dialed in and set up and ready to go. And then we're gonna get ready to go into the backcountry here.
Okay, fire in the hole.
Which target?
The one on the right.
Okay. You can tell with this setup we have here, when you have that corner of that paper lift up and you know that it's raised up more than what the wind call was, then you just fudge that wind hold over a half minute or so and you'll drop that bullet right down in there. 3 factors in this example: that you can see the paper of your target moving, you can see mirage floating through your scope, and you can also see the vegetation, pine limbs in the background moving. So what we're gonna do is getting back into your turret here. You've dialed 300 yards on your elevation hold, and the top number there, about a half minute to compensate for that with this particular setup. But with more experience and things, you'll get a feel. So just as long as you're very cognizant of the wind, you get better and better with reading it.
Yeah,
so
I'm actually amazed. From a guy coming from a position of hunting all my life, I've never wasted a lot of bullets. What I always considered wasting bullets, shooting paper, but I've done a tremendous amount of hunting. So to actually shoot paper and to start calculating this in, as a hunter, you can never really understand wind until you really start shooting paper. And then you can see what it's doing.
And the further you go out, the more critical it becomes.
Sure, that's definitely gonna up my game.
Absolutely. We're gonna find out on this hunt.
Yeah.
That's absolutely ideal for a hunting rifle application. Paul was aiming for the main red cross, and what we had was just a little bit of wind drift from right to left. You're right there. And the more you shoot, you'll tighten those groups up, you know. But it looks to me like you need, and we'll look on this on the turret of the scope, but you probably need to hold 1 minute into the wind to compensate for this wind drifting that bullet.
Sure.
So, and that's the first time you shot the rifle and the scope combination. So
yeah, it was a 300-yard shot.
You have to call the boys up at Coeur d'Alene and let them know that they're spot on.
They did an excellent job. Yep. You know what? Those guys are awesome to work with.
Well, we've got a variable 5 to 10 mile an hour wind, so I think it's going to be about right. 1 minute hold up on the right-hand side, and I think he's going to be right in there. So,
you know, an accurate rifle is a crucial part of any successful hunt. Jim and Paul have been practicing, and when we come back, we're going to the bush to see if we can find what Jim and Paul have been looking for.
The Best of the West is brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation, Cryptek Camo, Hawkins Precision, Defiance Machine, Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable, Huskamaw Optics, and LongRangeStore.com.
Welcome back to the Best of the West. Jim is in British Columbia hunting with Insana Outfitters and his guide Paul, and now they're headed to the field to see if they can find a trophy worth taking home. After all this practice, let's see what's next.
well, we're here with Insana Outfitters here in northern British Columbia. We got out, slept in a little bit this morning, got our rifles sighted in, and we feel fully comfortable with our rifles where they're at, where they're hitting. And we're up here in some pretty remote country, and we're glassing a south-facing slope.
This country is real thick timbered, and there's not very many open slopes here. This is one of them that these bear like to come out and start feeding on this new green growth that's coming up. We're here, it's the middle of May. Spot a bear over on that south-facing slope.
You know, in this country, I check a tremendous amount of areas, and that's why we're able to see so many bears. I know we're gonna see 20 to 30 bears in the next 5 days, and it's because we're gonna cover just huge amounts of area and glass these big hillsides and then just move on to another area. Whereas a baited hunt, you're really just locked into that one spot. So I think that when you're looking for big trophy bears, I think that this really puts the odds in your favor.
I think we've got two things going for us, and that is the spot and stock method that we're utilizing here, and the longer range capability where we don't have to be right in on them. We can kind of sit back and wait for that bear to make the move.
When we're up here in BC and we're using the spot and stock method, finding the bear sign really helps you focus in on where the big bears are. One of the most obvious techniques is to find the big record book bear scats. And when you find really, really big bear scat, then you know you got a bear working that area. So in my guide area, I got 2,000 square miles. And to help me focus in on the spot and stock technique, find the most concentrated bear sign, and then those are the areas we work. So right here we can see that that's a pretty big bear left that marker for us. So this is an area we'll keep an eye on in the next few days for a really big record book bear.
I don't know how old this is. You know, it can't be that old. I don't think this road has been dry very long. So we're definitely in good bear habitat. It's just putting in our time, and we'll find what we're looking for.
Hopefully we won't just get Jim a bear, but hopefully we get him one for the books. One really good area we're walking back down into there, it's about a 5-year-old clear cut now. We were walking down in there and we came across some fresh grizzly tracks and some fresh grizzly scat, and I could see it was a sow and a cub. I really didn't want to bump into those grizzly bears, you know, a sow with a cub. So we turned around and came back out, and we hiked up on a ridge, and from that vantage point, we're able to glass back down into where we just came from.
Well, we got some elevation here where we could see down into some of these clear cuts. And we were just down hitting that bottom end down there. And we cut a sow grizzly and cub tracks. And we turned around. Paul said he didn't really want to engage a stout grizzly with cubs, and sure enough, he called it dead on. Good call, Paul. We weren't that far from them.
No, we were right there. That's why.
We were right there at the bend of the road. Those grizzlies are actually about 300 yards from where we turned around, so it was an excellent move, a good call by our outfitter, and it's just neat to see grizzlies anytime, in my opinion. So we're gonna keep looking for that big black bear now.
Unbelievable experiences, and there's more to come after the break. So stay with us for more long-range hunting here on the Best of the West.
Over the years, the Best of the West has received some amazing pictures of trophies taken in the field from proud Husqvarna Optic owners. We are so proud to see the tremendous success that Husqvarna Optics has brought to our customers. So in return, we've decided to incorporate a new segment into our future episodes. The Husqvarna Team Challenge will be a viewer submission segment from you, the viewer. Each week, we'll feature a hunt from one of our loyal customers and viewers. Each submission that airs on the Best of the West will receive a Husqvarna prize pack. And at the end of the year, our pro staff will sit down and pick a Husqvarna Team Challenge winner. The winner will be provided a Hunter Elite rifle system and a hunt that will be filmed and featured on one of our shows. So get those Husqvarnas and camcorders ready for some lights, camera, and action this year. Go to thebestofthewest.net for complete details on how to enter.
And we're back to Jim's trophy bear hunt in beautiful British Columbia. Paul just caught a glimpse of a bear, and they're going to sneak up the road here and have a little closer look, see how big he is.
My favorite part of this hunt was knowing that there was truly a chance for a top-end quality mature boar bear.
That wind is actually our friend when you're cruising around, and with this bit of wind, bear can't even hear the truck drive by, so.
Typically down in the States, many areas are overhunted. You basically have to shoot the first legal bear that you see if you're going to be successful. Here, knowing that you could be selective in the bear that you harvest was probably the highlight of this trip as far as the actual hunt went.
We'll look for one a little bit bigger. You had the drop on that one, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I was there.
It's kind of the fun part about bear hunting up here is, you're gonna get to see a few bears. You don't have to shoot little bears up here. What is that, 6 bears now we've seen?
Yep.
And that would have been, this is 2 full days of hunting today at lunch, so.
Well, we're on our 3rd evening. We've got some good bear sign just over the top here. Some clear cuts down below us. There's a good bear down there, and we're gonna sit up there on glass and see what we see come out this evening.
Some of the highlights from this last week were a nice cinnamon bear that we saw. And let's go take a closer look. We put a sneak up onto it. There was a little bit of brush in between us, so it is a real fun stalk to get in close and trying to determine how big of a bear. And I think when we got to about the 40-yard mark, we were able to see through the willows and see that it was just a medium-sized bear, and it wasn't one that we were going to harvest. but we were able to still sneak up a little bit closer and get a really good look at him. He didn't have a clue we were there.
Some of the highlights of the bears we did see was the close sneak up of the bear that Paul got within 10 yards of. I mean, to me, that really told that we had a good team rolling here. We had 3 people sneaking up along a gravel road, and we were able to sneak within 40, 30 yards of that bear not being detected. That's just, you know you have a good solid team when you're able to accomplish that.
And then at the end, there was a spruce tree that he went in behind, so I just walked up to that spruce tree with the spruce tree in between, and I got to about 10 yards on that bear. So that was kind of having a little fun, practicing sneaking up on bears.
I got to about 10 yards. Could have got him with a stone, I think. It was not a big enough bear to put on the wall. We got to get Jim a really big one.
He's just in that fresh grass, just mowing down, just pretty cool experience. Thank you.
The Best of the West is brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation, Cryptek Camo, Hawkins Precision, Polestar Outdoors, Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable, Huskamaw Optics, and LongRangeStore.com. For more information about the products and gear used in today's show, please visit LongRangeStore.com or call 1-866-754-7618. For more information about Inzana Outfitters, contact Paul Treppis at 1-250-964-2257 or visit InzanaOutfitters.com.
On one of the first days when we were doing recon, we found an area that had quite a bit of bear sign in it. Jim was eager to get back up there and take a look around.
It's a good sized bear for sure.
We waited an extra day because the grass was just starting to come up there, and then we found this nice big boar. He was just kind of working the road edge and, to traveling the road. Oh, that was really exciting.
Everybody was on key. Paul was calling the yardage.
Okay, it's 300.
I was set down in a perfect prone position, completely steady. He went over into the edge of the trees. We could just see him moving in there. What really sticks in my mind is just the bulk and the bigness of that bear, kind of walking bull-legged down that road. Just a great experience up here with Inzana Outfitters. The bear was walking straight at me. I had the crosshairs right under his chin and just waiting for him to turn either direction, and I was going to take him.
As soon as that bear turned, Jim just made a perfect shot, absolute perfect shot. That was pretty exciting, especially that it was a 300-yard shot, and he made a perfect shot.
He's down. He's down.
2 shots are better than 1.
That's a big bear. Just big, burly, big black bear. Knocked him down good. And he was over there twisting and turning a little bit. I put another one in him. Put him down there at 300 yards, and he came out across this logging road. Really good shot on him, I believe. It's the culmination of an awesome hunt up here in northern British Columbia. Let's go check him out.
Well, I was watching you, and I seen where you set up, and so I thought that's good. And then I was watching you to see what shot you'd pick on the bear. I didn't have to say nothing. You just waited and you knew. As soon as he turned, bam, you were ready.
Tell you what, bear hunting is so exciting. It's just hard to explain to guys. It's just so exciting to be there. Man. Beautiful.
Look at that big wide head. I seen that right away. Seen how wide his head. I was looking at his ears when he came, and the distance between his ears. The little bears, they got little, their ears are pretty close together, but he had a pretty big head. And you see his feet here. Now, we've been looking at bear tracks all week, right?
Right.
And we've been measuring them. And by doing that, we're able to tell, you know, that we have different bears in different areas. And in order to target, when you're doing spot and stalk, fair chase bear hunts, and you got 2,000 square miles to operate in, it's really helpful to pay attention to the sign, the tracks, measure the tracks. And when I get one that's bigger than my Leatherman by about an inch, I know I've got about a 6 foot plus bear. We're targeting bears that are 6 foot and up. And so we've been measuring all week the tracks, and now here we got a bear that definitely fits into that category, what we were looking for in terms of tracks.
I am absolutely pleased with him. We worked for him, and that's part of it is the hunt. It's not just going out and shooting an animal. We did numerous hikes up logging trails and things, and glassed, and
yeah,
we had a good complete hunt. And we were being pretty selective, and last night was a thrill for me, just sneaking up on that little chocolate bear, and you got within what, 10 yards of him?
Yep. You were able to be fairly selective on your hunt too this week.
Just an awesome hunt, Paul, and I just want to thank you. Couldn't have been any better.
It's one of the things that our bears up here are really famous for, is these beautiful, amazing spring black bears. And they got their full winter hair, and underneath their bellies and stuff is complete.
Just beautiful.
They make fantastic mounts.
Just thick, dense. Absolutely awesome trophy. Thrilled to death.
Next week on the Best of the West, we're privileged to follow Sergeant First Class Scott Muirhead on his African adventure with wild wildebeest safaris in South Africa. Join field host Dan Adler together with Scott across the open savanna in pursuit of Africa's biggest and best plains game animals. All this and more next week on the Best of the West.